They never raise their voice, they never rush to speak, and yet they control every room they enter. You've seen them, you've envied them. This is how you become them. The truth is, chaos feeds on reaction. Most people lose because they try too hard to appear strong. They talk too much. They interrupt. They overthink, then over-explain. They leak power through every sentence. The quiet mind doesn't do that. It observes. It holds the pause. It watches the room, while the room watches it back. You don't need to speak louder. You need to think sharper. Control isn't about being in charge. It's about not being controlled. Because the quiet mind doesn't chase. It chooses. And what it chooses, obeys. That's the shift. You're not here to impress. You're here to influence, silently. You don't need to say much. You need to notice more. In every conversation, there's always someone reacting and someone reading. Be the one who reads, because power doesn't shout. It listens. It studies. The loudest one in the room is rarely the strongest. They need attention. They need validation. They need to be seen. But the quiet mind doesn't need permission. It doesn't explain itself. It simply understands. You notice how people flinch when silence stretches. That's because silence makes people confront their own mind. You control the room not by interrupting, but by outwaiting, by being the calmest mind in the storm, still, centered, watching. And here's the secret. People obey calm energy. They trust what doesn't rush. When you hold still, they start revealing everything, their doubts, their fears, their patterns. That's when you win, not by attacking, but by seeing everything before they even move. Stay quiet. We're just getting started. People make noise when they're afraid of being ignored, but you're learning how to be powerful without saying a word. That changes everything, because once you no longer need to speak, you stop wasting energy. You conserve. You sharpen. You learn to wait until the exact right moment. And when you speak, it lands like thunder. That's the edge most people never find. The ability to sit in a room, say nothing, and still be the most remembered person there. You don't chase the spotlight. You become the reason it moves. Every calm breath is strategy. Every pause is a weapon. You are no longer the person who reacts. You are the observer, the analyst, the quiet architect of the entire room. People don't understand that silence can be louder than noise, but you're starting to. So ask yourself, in a world screaming for attention, what happens when you say nothing and everyone still listens? If you're the kind of person who listens quietly, learns deeply, and wants to master your mind, then subscribe now. The next video will meet you where words can't. You've started to notice something strange. People are reacting differently now. They pause when you speak. They hesitate before challenging you. And sometimes they just stay silent around you. It's not because you got louder. You didn't. You simply stop chasing validation. You're no longer predictable, and that makes you powerful. The calm mind doesn't argue, it just listens, processes, decides, and when it moves, everyone pays attention. That's the real shift, not in how much you say, but in how little you need to. Most people try to win arguments. You stopped needing to, because the quiet mind plays a different game. It doesn't chase noise, it detects patterns, it doesn't react, it reads. While they raise their voice, you track their tells, a smirk that slips, a twitch in the jaw, a sentence that reveals too much. You've trained your mind to stay still while others shake. Not because you're indifferent, but because stillness gives you access to truths hidden behind performance. You no longer fight for control. You are control. The quiet mind watches the room and then rewrites it. It doesn't interrupt. It disarms. It doesn't confront. It exposes. They try to provoke you, but you don't respond. They think you're silent because you have nothing to say, until you speak, and everything shifts. People mistake noise for power, but the real edge is when your silence holds more threat than their shouting. You don't fight to win anymore. You simply make it impossible for them to play the same game, and that's how the quiet mind wins, before the conflict starts, before they even know they've lost. Most people will never know this. Stillness is not emptiness, it's surveillance. Your calm is not passive, it's pressure. The quieter you become, the louder everything else gets, and it becomes unbearable for them. They can't hide behind words anymore because you're not speaking, and that terrifies them. Your presence becomes a mirror. It reflects their own noise, their panic, their untrained minds. So they call you distant. They say you're cold, but the truth is, you've stopped reacting. And when you stop reacting, you stop being predictable. And when you're no longer predictable, you become powerful. Think about this. How many people in your life truly know what silence is? Not the silence of a quiet room, but the silence inside, when your mind stops begging to be seen and starts watching instead. That silence is a weapon. It helps you see lies before they're spoken, manipulation before it's attempted, weakness disguised as confidence. And while others fight for attention, you train for control. While they speak to be heard, you observe to understand. And that's why the quiet mind always wins. So here's the question. If your silence can expose the world, what could it reveal about you? If you were brave enough to face it, let that sit with you. And if your mind felt something shift during this video, that wasn't an accident. That was the moment you realized you're not like them. So don't leave empty. This space was made for you. You already know it. Subscribe now, not because this channel needs followers, but because your mind just met its next challenge.